Whether or not you count Taiwan, there are approximately 196 countries in the world as of this recording. So while you may consider yourself to be a knowledgeable global citizen, and I'm sure you are, given the dynamic and complex nature of our planet, there are certain to be at least a couple of facts on this list that you may find surprising. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 things that you wouldn't believe about these countries. #25. France covers the most time zones. If you count everything, including overseas territories, then France claims the title by covering 12 time zones. The United States would be the runner-up with 11, and then Russia with 9. 24. The Maldives is most likely to disappear beneath the waves. With all the talks of global warming and rising sea levels, it's the residents of the Maldives that have the greatest reason to fear. With an average height of around 1.8 meters above sea level, their nation is the lowest on Earth. 23. Nauru has the most overweight population. With over 95% of its population being overweight, the small island nation of Nauru is by far the fattest country on Earth. Its obesity epidemic is primarily attributed to the importation of Western fast food that coincided with an increased standard of living in the 20th century due to the global popularity of its phosphate exports. It's almost non sequitur. Almost. 22. Guam's roads are made of coral. Because Guam doesn't have any natural sand, but rather coral, the island nation makes its asphalt using a mix of ground coral and oil, rather than importing sand from abroad. 21. The Falkland Islands have 350 sheep for every person. With only about 3,000 people, the Falkland Islands are home to approximately 500,000 sheep. Not surprisingly, wool is a major export. 20. Egypt is the oldest sovereign state. This largely depends on your definition of a sovereign state, but if you're going by the first acquisition of sovereignty, then Egypt would be the first country in the world to achieve sovereignty based upon the formation of the first dynasty in 3100 BCE. 19. Canada has the most lakes in the world. With over 3 million lakes, 9% of Canadian territory is actually fresh water, and over 60% of all the lakes in the world are found within its borders. 18. Mongolia is the least likely place to meet your neighbor. At 4 people per square mile, Mongolia is the least densely populated country on Earth. Compare this to the Mongkok district of Hong Kong that has the highest population density in the world with 340,000 people per square mile.
Whew. For the price of one.
Whew. 17. Russia has the largest number of tanks. It's a strange title to hold, but Russia has by far the most tanks of any army in the world, 21,000. Unfortunately for the motherland, most of these outdated machines are tributes to its past. And although outnumbered, 16,000, the United States has a much more advanced tank inventory.
Ha! We got more tanks! Woo!
The USA has tanks and Switzerland has banks. They can keep the tanks because they just don't mount. Because when you get down to it, you find out what the truth is. It isn't what you do with it. It's the size that counts.
All I heard was America has tanks!
16. Saudi Arabia is the land of no rivers. Sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? For a country as big as Saudi Arabia, there has to be at least some sort of flowing water. Well, there isn't. Most of their fresh water comes from desalination plants or underground reservoirs. 15. Niger has the youngest population of any country. Generally, the world's youngest country is determined by calculating the portion of the population that's younger than 15. Presently, it's Niger that holds this distinction, with roughly half of its population having barely reached puberty, 49%. 14. India is the most diverse country in the world. In almost every category, culturally, economically, climatically, racially, linguistically, ethnically, and religiously, India is either the most diverse country in the world or the runner-up.
13.
The Ukraine is the fastest disappearing nation. With a natural decrease in population of 0.8% annually, between now and 2050, Ukraine is expected to lose around 30% of its people.
12.
Most of Malta's citizens live abroad. After some rough economic times coupled with an increased birth rate, Malta experienced significant emigration. It was so significant that there are now more Maltese living abroad than within the country itself.
10.
Suriname is almost entirely covered in jungle. With 91% of its land covered in jungle, Suriname's 500,000 residents live primarily along the coast near the capital. Only 5% of the population, mainly indigenous people, live inland.
9.
Haiti is almost entirely treeless. On the opposite end of the spectrum is Haiti, a country that has been so badly deforested that you can tell where it borders the Dominican Republic by looking at its satellite image. Haiti is on the left in this photo.
8.
Singapore is the largest country with no farms. Although there are a small number of nations in the world that show no hint of having an agriculture-based economy, take Vatican City for example, Singapore is the largest of these urban city-states.
7.
Papua New Guinea has the most languages spoken. Although English is its official language, only 1 to 2% of the population actually speak it. As the most linguistically diverse country in the world, over 820 languages are spoken in Papua New Guinea, or 12% of the world's total.
6.
Canada has the most educated people. With 50% of its population having been educated at the post-secondary level, Canada easily has the most educated populace in the world. It's followed by Israel at 45% and Japan at 44%.
5.
Libya is the desert country. With 99% of the country covered in desert, Libya is one of the aridest places in the world, and in some regions, decades may go by without a single drop of rain.
4.
Somalia is the least peaceful nation in the world. Although for the last 3 years Iraq has been ranked as the least peaceful country in the world according to the Global Peace Index, Somalia overtook it this year for top spot.
3.
Russia produces most of the world's oxygen. Siberia is home to approximately 25% of the world's forests that span an area larger than the continental United States, making Russia the largest converter of CO2 into breathable compounds.
2.
Afghanistan is the world's largest opium producer. Producing a whopping 95% of the world's opium, not even 10 years of occupation by American forces have slowed down the industry.
1.
The United States has the most people behind bars. When it comes to incarcerating its population, the United States is the world's uncontested leader. With 2.2 million people behind bars, it has 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's incarcerated population. China comes in second place at 1.5 million, and Russia comes in third at 870,000. So, what's your country known for? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet your answer to us at List25. USA. USA. That's not something to be proud of.
No.
Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button on the bottom right and the notification bell so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these videos here or just head to our website at list25.com.